Hello, welcome to this video recording of the information session about the Portland Airport mural design opportunity. My name is Eleanor Sandys. I am a public art project manager at the Regional Arts and Culture Council, also known as RAC. RAC is working with the Port of Portland to run the artist selection processes for a series of opportunities at the airport. And today we're going to be focusing on the current opportunity, which is for mural designs. I am going to share my screen here. We hope that this information session is helpful to you and that you are considering applying to the opportunity. Before we get into the content of the presentation, I do want to remind you to read through the request for qualifications. That document has a lot of the information we're talking about today and more. It will be very helpful to making a competitive application to make sure you read through that carefully. You can find it on RAC's website if you hover over the news drop-down menu and then click on opportunities at RAC. Then you can find that RFQ as well as some other opportunities. And the website is racc.org. RAC is committed to accessibility and providing services to folks who may have needs, from technical assistance navigating the application to translation or interpretation. If you do need accommodation or assistance, please reach out ahead of the deadline and let us know how we can help you. So today you will hear from Wendy Gibbon, Art Program Manager at the Port of Portland, about the airport's art program and the major construction project at the airport that includes new artworks, including the ones we were talking about today. I'll tell you about some of the other art opportunities that have been a part of this larger project, and then we'll really focus on the mural design opportunity, including an overview of the project, the application, and the selection process. And then Nikki Cook, Data and Systems Specialist here at RAC, will show you how to apply through RAC's online opportunity portal. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Wendy. And Wendy, I'm navigating the slides, so just let me know if I need to click ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you, Eleanor. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for your interest in the Port Art Program and for your interest in this call. I'm just going to review a few things here and then hand it back to Eleanor. A few things about our program. It's multifaceted. We have a growing permanent art collection, 65 plus works at this time in the Port's permanent art collection. We have a fairly robust temporary exhibition program right now at Portland International Airport. We have approximately 10 rotating spaces that feature regional artwork, and they rotate out approximately every 6 months to a year. Really exciting. By the end of our new Terminal 4 expansion project, which phase 1 opened in August of last year, phase 2 will complete the project in probably early to mid 2026. We'll have approximately 14 rotating exhibition areas for regional artists. We also have a really exciting micro cinema at PDX post security from the Hollywood Theater, a famous, as many know, local art house cinema. So we're thrilled to work with them and have a theater within the airport. And it focuses on films by Oregon filmmakers. Next slide, please. So we have several goals with our art program. The first is to represent artists of diverse races, genders, geographic origins, and ethnicities with the purpose of advancing fair and equitable inclusion. Number 2, we reflect the region's creative and cultural wealth. 3, we try to incorporate a variety of artists, mediums, and materials and aesthetics. And for the airport environment, it's such a specific environment that we have special considerations for the architecture and the general character, as well as for passenger flow and safety. And all of the materials that are featured in our cultural programming art program are easily maintained and made of durable materials. And this is our social equity policy. Um, High level, we were very serious about promoting social equity. We use a racial equity focus with the purpose of advancing fair and equitable inclusion to create conditions in which all people can participate, prosper, and achieve equitable outcomes with respect to the port's employment, business, and services. Cultural and racial equity will be considered throughout the process of selecting artists or artist teams for our permanent acquisitions, as well as our film programming and our temporary programming. We consider the demographics of the artists selected, the cultural communities that are served, and the diverse perspectives represented through the artworks. And the port encourages partnerships among artist teams that reflect our region's cultural heterogeneity. And this is some of the really exciting new permanent works that we have acquired at the Port of Portland. These are all featured in PDX at Portland International Airport. Jacob Hashimoto, these are both security, large scale suspended works within our concourse extension. We also have in Concourse B, Post Security, an incredible multifaceted piece by artist Ryan Feddersen. And I think, yes, these few slides are highlights of the three different aspects of that. We also have a really beautiful Ben Butler work in our new Packer rental car. It's kind of the thoroughfare to our rental car facility at PDX. This is also in our rental car lobby facility at PDX. And I'll note that many of the artists, we do different types of calls for the permanent works, and each RFQ is specific to the architecture, the location. So some were international calls, some were regional calls, and some are local calls, as well as national calls. DeWitt Godfrey, this is also in our new Packer rental car facility. It's beneath the parking structure. And then when our brand new terminal core opened this past summer, we integrated 2 large scale digital art walls that the first run of programming includes films by artists Ivan McClellan, Brad Johnson, and Rebecca Mendez. And the new terminal core redevelopment project, it will double the footprint of the terminal. It's massive and it's beautiful, and it's very reflective of the Pacific Northwest and the wood and materials and I think feeling of Portland and the Pacific Northwest by celebrating the beauty of the Pacific Northwest. We have several upgrades. I won't go through all of this, but it's a lot because our focus is really the art. So I'll keep it rolling here.
Great.
And so,
yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, I'll take it over from here. Thank you, Wendy.
Eleanor.
So for the T-Core is what we call the terminal core redevelopment project. T-Core is our short term for that. For T-Core in particular, there's a public art committee that was put together, and that committee is made up of artists, community members, as well as port employees. And this committee put together, approved an art plan for overall planning out those different opportunities. And they're also play a big role in reviewing and selecting the artists for each opportunity. And they came up with some goals for this program, which includes the mural design call for artists. Those goals are have some crossover with the Port of Portland's art program goals, representing contemporary artists of diverse backgrounds. And again, in line with the social equity policy of advancing fair and equitable inclusion. Another goal is celebrating the wealth of cultures and creativity locally and in the region, and important connections to the greater world. So as Wendy was saying, there's been different calls, some for local artists. There's also some big name international and national artists. And then third, to be dynamic, iconic, and engaging while providing one of these traits, creating contemporary art connections, sparking delight, bringing intrigue, and providing a sense of welcome and connection. So really thinking about the experience for travelers coming to Portland, as well as people who use the airport who call it home. And this is a map of the main terminal core, and you are looking at it from above. This is the renovated main terminal building. So just to orient you a little bit, south is towards your left and north is towards your right. The pink circles with white numbers show where there will be art installations. There will be, I think it was 11 new artworks commissioned through the project. Depending whether you count the videos or not, that would add even more. This mural design opportunity is the final call to artists for the T-Core project. And then Wendy was mentioning that the port also has rotating art exhibitions. Some of these you can see here on the plan indicated by the blue circles. Just to tell you a little bit about some of the art that has already been commissioned or selected for the T-Core project. This artwork is one of two large-scale glass installations by Portland artist Yoon Hee Choi. These were installed in 2024. And you can see them at the security checkpoints just pre-security, and also on the other side in the concourse connector passageway. Another artwork that was installed in 2024 is this large-scale signature suspended sculpture by New York-based artist Sanford Biggers. These, there's two installations. You're looking at an image of one of them. These are also located in the concourse connector passageway. And this is Sanford Biggers' first commissioned public artwork in the Pacific Northwest. Another art opportunity that is currently in fabrication is the meter greeter art locate. There's two separate, both north and south art locations for the meter greeter artworks. Two artists have been selected for these opportunities, Deani Whitehawk and Kate Newby. Fabrication is underway and they will be installed this coming winter. This is an image of each of the artists in front of some of their other work. And we did just release a news release recently in partnership with the port that you can find on RAC's website if you want to learn more about these artists and their proposed work. I did just want to go back to the art plan. So in the works by Yoon Hee Choi and Sanford Biggers, you see on the very top along this long hallway at the back of the building. The meter greeter, can you see my cursor, Nikki or Wendy? Yes, okay, great. So oh no, it disappeared. Okay, there we go. Meter greeter is over here at 4A and 4B. And I wanted to point this out because the mural design opportunities are just right near those at 3A and 3B. So they will be somewhat close together. There will also be a 2D large-scale artwork with an impactful international focus. Also installed this coming winter in the international arrivals area. You don't see it on the plan because it's actually on the level below. And the artist has been selected for this opportunity, but not yet announced publicly. Similarly, we have another large-scale wall artwork by an artist who has been selected but not announced in the South Arrivals area, and this is pre-security. So those two artists will be announced soon, hopefully. Three artists have been selected to create sculptures for the entry hall of the terminal, and these will be installed in the spring of 2026. These sculptures will highlight local Indigenous artists, and again, these artists have been selected but not yet publicly announced. So lots of very exciting new artwork already underway at the airport. And that brings us to the current opportunity, the mural designs. This is for two local artists, and each of those artists will create a mural design. The commission is for digital designs for large-scale murals that will evoke the feeling of being on a Portland street. Each wall has a space of 59 feet wide by 11 feet high. And we anticipate that artists will be selected this summer, and the murals will be installed in the spring of 2026. To go into a little bit more detail about the opportunity. So specifically, this is to create an original digital artwork or a 2D artwork that the artist will have translated into a high quality digital file. The Port of Portland will then oversee a local vendor that is going to custom print the artwork and install it as a large scale mural. That installation will be done in Phototex or another similar material. Phototex is a self-adhesive material, and the Port of Portland has used it for other artworks. It's made of polyester fabric, and it can render printed artwork very beautifully and cleanly. And these murals will be displayed in the exit halls for 1 to 3 years. The murals are going to be the first in a cycle of 2 new rotating art exhibition locations post-security at the airport. So they'll be refreshed with new murals every 2 to 3 years. And just again to emphasize, this is for digital designs for the murals, so you wouldn't actually be painting them on site. Bringing up that plan again, we have the large orange arrows pointing out where those mural locations are going to be installed. And they are again near the meter greeter artworks, but they're before passengers exit the secure area of the airport. This is another view with the orange arrow indicating that pink line on the wall where the mural will go. And just noting that this is the south arrivals side, but the north side will mirror the south side. So it will look the same, but just the opposite. Some more details about the site. The exit halls are located to the east of the post-security concession halls. And this is the last post-security area where passengers will walk through before they meet family, friends, or others that are greeting them before they leave the terminal or travel downstairs to baggage claim. The look and feel of the exit halls is planned to be reminiscent of a city streetscape. It'll include trees, seating, and in the future, it may also provide a location for pop-up kiosk-like shops for local vendors. So that feeling of a city street or market is really the inspiration for this area, and has to do with how the art committee is thinking about those murals. These are renderings of the exit hall area. The green boxes on the wall indicate where the murals will go, or where one mural will go. So these images are both for the south arrivals side from 2 different angles. So again, this will be mirrored on the north side of the terminal. So this is a view looking towards the exit. And this is the same wall, but looking into the concession hall. So there's specific goals for this opportunity, the mural designs. One is to celebrate contemporary mural culture and local mural artists, evoking a feeling of being on a city street, promote pride of place, culture, or a sense of home, be vibrant and iconic, and provide wayfinding cues for travelers. So the committee here was really thinking colorful and vibrant, and really bringing a sense of murals that you might see out on the streets of Portland. This will be awarded to 2 artists or artist teams. The budget for each mural is not to exceed $15,000. That is going to include all of the design fees and any materials or equipment required for the digital or 2D original artwork. It's going to include the professional digitization of the artwork and a delivery of the digital file to the port. The Port of Portland will then cover a separate budget that's going to be for production and installation of the mural at the airport. So who can apply? This is an open call. It's open to artists or artist teams that live in the service area of the Portland airport. That includes all of Oregon, as well as some counties in Southwest Washington, Cowlitz, Clark, Klickitat, Lewis, Pacific, Skamania, Waukegan, and Yakima. The focus here is really on mural artists, but previous mural experience is not required. For example, if you're a painter doing larger paintings as your studio practice and you haven't done a mural yet, this could be an opportunity for you to have your first mural commission. Likewise, emergent artists are also encouraged to apply. The committee's really interested in seeing your work and how you might imagine your vision within that space. Because the artwork that is going to be delivered to the port has to be scaled up to a very large installation, it needs to be in a high quality professional digital format. Some artists may have that experience and be able to create the digital file. Others will need to hire a vendor to help them with that digitization. But I do want to say that you don't have to have that digital background. It may be helpful when you're doing the opportunity, but it's not required. And RAC is able to support if needed to help the artist meet those technical requirements. So I'm going to talk more in detail about what is required in the application, but just to give you information about the selection process. So the art committee is going to review and score all of the eligible applications that are submitted. And they're going to use this evaluation criteria, which is also in the RFQ, so you can reference it later, to look at each application. Artists can score up to 30 points for artistic vibrancy. This is based on the past work as seen in the images that you submit in the application. You'll also have a statement of interest in your application, and the committee is looking at the artist's interest in the project as well as alignment or connection to the port's social equity policy. Up to 20 points can be given for the ability to create impactful artwork for PDX Airport, as well as up to 20 points for meeting the goals of the Port of Portland's art program. And you can reference the RFQ to read the social equity policy and also to see the Port of Portland's art program goals. This is our definition of what artistic vibrancy is. So it's defined as a practice that demonstrates integrity of process, embodies excellence of craft and skills, demonstrates imagination, distinctiveness, and originality, engages with the diversity and complexity of contemporary life, and or is relevant in a local, national, and global context. So the committee is really thinking through all of these things as they review all of the applicants' submitted materials. Based on the committee scores and their discussion, the committee will choose up to 6 finalists for an interview. And when those finalists are selected, we'll let all the applicants know whether they are a finalist or if they weren't selected to move forward. Those 6 finalists will then attend a site visit and orientation at the airport. They'll then develop a proposal for a mural design and present that mural design proposal to the art committee. All of the finalists will be paid a $1,500 honorarium plus travel expenses to participate in that site visit, develop the design proposal, and interview with the art committee. During that phase, there's also evaluation criteria, up to 50 points for demonstrated artistic vibrancy and feasibility of that proposed design concept. And again, ability to create impactful artwork for the airport. And then here we're also looking for alignment of that proposed design with the primary goals of the art opportunity. Once those two artists are selected, they will enter into a contract with the port to create that original artwork or 2D artwork and then have it translated into digital file. The artist will then prepare a final design. So that's developed from the design proposal that they shared with the committee during the interview phase. And once that final design and a digitization plan is approved, the artist will move forward with creating and digitizing their artwork. This is our anticipated timeline. The application opens April 16th. The due date for that application is by May 21st. We anticipate the artist will be selected over the summer and into early fall. And then fall through winter, the artist is going to create that artwork and prepare the digital file. And then in spring of 2026, the vendor will produce and install the murals. And just to note that these are the best estimates we have for the timeline based on what we currently know. Occasionally things can change because of revisions in construction schedule or other factors. So how to apply. You will need to submit an application through RAC's Opportunity Portal. Nikki will show you how to use the portal in just a moment. And I mentioned this a little bit, but in more detail, the application is going to include a statement of interest. This is up to 2,000 characters, which does include spaces. And we ask that you address why the project is of interest to you, how your art practice could address the site and project goals, and then also how your experiences, practice, or values connect to or align with the port's social equity policy. You'll also submit a resume with professional references, and then images for up to 10 past works with accompanying information. So you'll have title, year produced, dimensions, budget if you have one, the medium, and you can also put in a brief description to give some more background information. You're going to upload those images into RAC's system. They can include up to 2 videos. And we ask that you don't submit renderings or plans for projects that have not been completed, just actual artworks that you have done. Another thing important to note here is that you are not expected, and we do not want to see at this time a project proposal for what the murals might be. Really, this is a focus on looking at your past work and your interest in alignment with the project. And I am going to stop sharing and hand it over to Nikki.
Absolutely. Let me share my screen. All right. Can you see this? Okay. There we go. Excellent. So this is the RAC Opportunity Portal. You can find this link all over our website and all over all over the RFQ. But if you need to find it, it is racc.org/apply. All of our calls are administered through this website. If this is your first time making or submitting anything through us, then you'll be asked to set up an account. It's very simple. We just need to register an email. And then once you've done that, upon logging in, you will reach this page. To look for, this is where you'll find all of your in progress applications. In order to start a new one or see opportunities in progress, you'll click this green create a new application button. That will take you to all the programs we have currently running. Of course, this one isn't up yet, so I'll use another one as an example. Let's say you want to apply. This is the current elevator-based artwork opportunity that's set to end of the day that this one actually goes live. So that's interesting. But when you go in, you'll find a brief summary of the project. There'll be links to the full RFQ on the website. And then by clicking this green apply button, it will take you to the menus in which you can submit those materials Eleanor just mentioned. This will look a little bit different based on the types of criteria that are offered, but it will look exactly like this. Once every task is completed, you will then be able to submit. And if you have any questions, RAC is available to help you if you run into any issues with the platform. That's all that I have. Stop sharing.
Thank you, Nikki. And I'm gonna just share one more time here. We're almost finished. Thanks for your patience as we explain all this information. A final reminder to read through the RFQ, and it can be found on RAC's website under the news tab and select opportunities at RAC. And if after you have reviewed the RFQ, you still have questions, we ask that you submit them through an online question form. We are using a question form for this opportunity because we want to make sure that all artists applying to the opportunity have the same information. So we'll be sharing all of the questions and answers with all applicants. They'll have a way to link to those questions and answers. They will be anonymous, so your name won't be associated with your question. And many people have the same question, so I think that will be helpful. And if you do submit a question, we're going to try to answer them within 1 business day. And the link for the questions and responses will be accessible through the question form. The link to the question form will be in the RFQ. So what's next after reading through that RFQ, make sure you apply before the deadline. The due date is Wednesday, May 21st by 11:59 p.m. I do want to note that RAC team members are only in the office until 5 o'clock, so they won't be able to provide support past 5 p.m. on that due date. So if you think you might need assistance, make sure to apply well before that deadline. I would also encourage you to apply early even if you don't think you need assistance. Things tend to come up and it's just nice to have that buffer to have extra days or know that your application has already been submitted successfully. Also, if you're interested in more mural opportunities, please come join RAC from 5 to 8 p.m. on First Thursday on May 1st. The event is going to focus on RAC's mural programs. I'll be there. Salvador Mayero will be there, who runs RAC's mural programs. And that is the end of our information session. Thank you very much for watching the recording, and I look forward to seeing your application.